But yeah, over to the DXY. So dollar's looking pretty bearish. We've seen a lot of momentum, especially with yesterday, but we had that close the day before, which did suggest that price is going to close. It did suggest that price is breaking underneath the level with that close on Monday, and Tuesday we got the follow through. So we're looking pretty bearish at the moment, and perhaps we are seeing another lower high, and perhaps we are going to see a push back into the low, which will be 96.5, and that would mean a lot more weakness there for the dollar. Perhaps this bearish trend still got another leg to it, and that would mean that USD pairs will see some upside off the back of that, and we are kind of seeing that across the board. So dollar to me is looking pretty bearish. It looks like we are forming a lower high. I'm not so eager to short, to be honest, the dollar. I do think market structure is pretty tired. Again, in terms of entries, there's nothing really looking brilliant for me in terms of risk reward and how I want to enter the market anyway. There might be some lower time frame pullbacks. There's a brief pause here in the market. If I drop to the hourly chart, you'll see a little bit better. So you can see the consolidation there. Nice push to the downside with quite a lot of momentum. If we could revisit that, I think that's a nice place for a short and a nice place for a continuation as well. So I still do see a lot more downside here for USD. And of course, you got the lows there to target if you're looking for that bigger swing, or even just to pull back into the prior low. If you're looking at something intraday for like a day or a session, that could be a smart move as well. But there is room to the downside for the dollar if this trend does just want to continue. And I would suggest keep an eye on that consolidation. That could be a smart area to short from, provided we see some healthy rejection. But yeah, the key confluence, that 98 level was pretty significant. We're back below that. It does look like USD can continue to fall. So taking that information into EURUSD, again, we've pretty much seen the opposite. To be fair, EURUSD never really broke through that key level. We were expecting as support. I said coming into the week, it would be nice to see Euro actually break underneath this, then start to use that as resistance. Then we can find some shorts. We did break through this counter trend line, but yeah, it didn't really provide much momentum, and that was one of my key aspects I was mentioning quite a lot last week, that we did break through the trend line, but again, trend line break isn't the most significant thing in the world. Structure, support, resistance, I do prioritize more than trend line. So if I could see a break of that, that would really give me the go ahead to start shorting EURUSD, especially when the breakout was quite corrective. We saw a very corrective down move here. It's not like price kind of plummeted to the downside or saw a big move down. You know, we were very, very corrective and coming to support there. So I was quite hesitant to short Euro. And now that we break into the upside, we've broken through another counter trend line, which has made us pretty bullish, being this trend line here. We broke through that on Monday. And yeah, looking very, very bullish at the moment in time. So again, similar to the DXY, looking for a pullback. You got lovely range there. I think that could be a nice trade, like an hourly chart, maybe even a 15-minute chart. But you can see there's clear momentum in the market now. Big impulse there, another big impulse there. So the buyers are clearly in control, at least intraday anyway. You've got the prior swing higher over there at 1.182. That could be a healthy target for EURUSD, especially considering DXY is likely to push back into the lows. Yeah, if they do that, if DXY was to make that move, you probably expect Euro to make the same move as well. And again, if you're looking for something very conservative, at least to push back into the high. So nice pullback, retest, push into the high. Yeah, that's a nice trade within itself, especially if you're going to drop to like the 15-minute chart to trade that. But at this point in time, it looks like Euro is back with the buyers, and I would expect to see it swing back to the high at this point in time. So there could be some nice kind of trades for maybe a couple of days there or so for Euro. But yeah, looking very bullish. Strong rejection of support on the daily chart. We've broken through the counter trend line. Two very nice closes there on the daily chart, implying momentum is back with the buyers. Intraday buys look good. So yeah, in my opinion, I think buys make the most sense here with EURUSD. Pound USD, I'm kind of really backing away from the sells now. I did say coming to the week, I like the shorts from this area, kind of looking like a head and shoulder pattern. So this would be your left shoulder. That will be your head, and that will be your right shoulder. Of course, this is your neckline, so left, head, right shoulder. So that was the plan coming into the week, but I'm being very hesitant with this plan because of seeing what's happening with the DXY, the fact that we've lost all that confluence. Again, pound USD is quite corrective, so I'm going to keep an eye to see how we do react at this area, but it's going to have to be something very, very special for me to find an entry. Otherwise, I'll stay away, because looking at quite a lot of USD pairs, it does look like the weakness of USD is creeping back into the market. So I'm not so eager to be shorting pound USD, seeing what the dollar is doing, because I'm basically betting on dollar strength when it doesn't look like strength is likely to come into the market here. So being very careful here with pound. I certainly don't want to buy it, especially where we're coming into. We had a strong rejection of the lows here. Now we're pushing back into an area of supply. There might be some lower time frame opportunities. Maybe pull back into this area. Might provide a nice intraday buy, but I would be careful about buying in this area, because we did consolidate here, did see some nice bearish momentum. We are starting to approach resistance as well. Still probably got another 50, 75 pips before we get there, but not too far away. So I would be careful about buying. I think Euro looks the better buy. It looks like a clean opportunity for a push back into the highs. We broke through that counter trend line. Looks like we've got a pretty clear path back to highs pound. There's a lot of obstacles in our way, so I'll be a bit cautious of that. But intraday, I think buys make sense. Dollar CAD was super bearish, really strong move to the downside. We had a very strong Canadian dollar, of course, accompanied with some weakness on the USD, did result in a pretty big move down. We were trading yesterday, I believe, around here. We broke through the counter trend line. And I said that price is, of course, rejecting the level on the daily chart, which is surprise support over there, resistance once over there, resistance twice. We broke through the counter trend line, so we were talking about shorts yesterday. I said it looks like price is probably going to see us swing back into this area. Again, the best way to kind of trade it was, well, of course, in hindsight, looking for the breakout and just entering on the breakout. If you're looking for a retest, I did say on Monday, it would be nice if price was to have one more move higher, test resistance, and then get the sell. But yeah, we didn't do that. We broke to the downside on Monday, consolidated slightly there Tuesday, and then saw price continue lower. So yeah, dollar CAD looking pretty bearish. I'm not seeing much of an opportunity at the moment right now. It looks to me that price is just going to smash into support. We'll see what price does. There might be some nice buys off the back of that. But again, I'll be cautious. I'll probably look for more of a short-term play. Dollar's looking pretty weak right now. Not really seeing signs of slowing down. So yes, we're coming to a support, but it might just be a retracement for price to eventually go and break through that area. After all, the current trend with dollar CAD is pretty bearish since the turn of the year. We have been falling. So yes, it's strong support. Yes, we can bounce, but maybe the bigger move is still with the sellers, judging what the DXY is doing here. So there might be some short-term buys there, but that's about it I can see right now with dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, excuse me, Aussie dollar looking bullish. Looks like the ascending channel has still got life, still chugging away to the upside. I'm going to see what we can do at the top end of the channel there. That's still kind of where I want to look for shorting opportunities. It looks like we might actually see that happen, to be honest. At the moment, looks like price is about to smash into some resistance. There may be some shorts off that even, but I'm not so eager. I'd rather price be as stretched as possible, be at the limits of the conditions as possible, as we can see price being in this ascending structure. So if I'm going to take a short, it's going to be right at the top, right at the extremes, which is where we've got the top end of the channel. That's really where I want to position myself short, find entries, put a stop loss above, and take some short entries off the back of that. Of course, last time we were here, we actually did successfully reject this area, and price did have a pretty nice move down. We could do that again potentially, but like I said, I'd rather wait for that deeper push, take out some of these highs there, potentially early sellers getting taken out, and then hopefully I can take advantage of that. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, right now, dollar's pretty weak. We're seeing that kind of, we're seeing that shown here with strength here and with the buying pressure we're seeing at the moment. So maybe price does break through resistance there. That's really where I want to operate. So waiting to see if we can get a lot more upside there for Aussie dollar, and hopefully some shorts on the 4-hour chart not too long afterwards. Yes, we're approaching some resistance, but I do have an expectation that we'll probably break through. And also you can see the dotted line there that represents the middle of the channel. One of my kind of rules is not really trading where that dotted line is, basically, because that's where the most fluctuation is, and you're not really at an optimal place anyway. So I'd rather wait for price to be a bit more stretched, and that's kind of where I'm looking to get involved. New Zealand dollar, same situation really. Respected the low of the channel here. Lovely bounce at the low. Looks like we're going to make a move back to the high. Again, we're probably only just past halfway, or even coming into halfway right now with New Zealand dollar. So I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity until we get back to these prices up here. I think there could be some more shorts, just kind of continuing the pattern. All prices have been doing for the past few weeks is just bouncing up and down. If we get there again, it's probably a 50-50 chance that we do bounce right back down again. So that looks like a nice opportunity, especially in terms of risk to reward. Could be looking at 1 to 3, 1 to 4 for that swing back into the lows. Maybe a nice 1 to 2, even just halfway. So I like the prospect in terms of the risk to reward for NZD/USD. Of course, at the moment, we've had a strong rejection off the low. Looking pretty bullish. Of course, dollar weakness is coming in, which is really helping out this move. In terms of opportunities, kind of just waiting to see if we can get to the high end of the channel. Of course, it's a very similar opportunity to Aussie dollar, which we just spoke about. They're very similar pairs after all. But yeah, I wouldn't get involved now. I'd wait for price to approach the high and then see what type of price action we can get. Provided there's some strong rejection, I quite like the shorts. I might even prefer New Zealand dollar because it looks like it might give us a bigger swing. I might prefer New Zealand dollar to Aussie, but it depends how we get there, depends how we react. So I'll make my mind up closer to when it's time to take a trade. But as of now, just waiting for us to get there really, and then some shorts. And if we do get a breakout, we'll speak more about that when the time is there. But in terms of gold's surprising me. We're starting to see more momentum with gold. We did break through some resistance. Funny enough, we are heading back into more resistance now. I'm not really looking to short gold. The plan is looking to buy it really. I was talking about some buys down here. Not too sure if price is going to come back and revisit these areas. These are the levels which I said if we can just come back to retest, I think they're very smart places, especially if you're looking for like a big swing trade to get long, put a stop loss underneath and potentially hold for the long run. Gold is starting to pick up the pace right now, but again, it's difficult finding entries, especially when we're approaching resistance. You're looking for pullbacks really. I spoke about this area here for a pullback yesterday. Brief pause, really big breakout. We've got these successive higher lows. The plan was, can we find the next one? And look for an entry in that area. Of course, price was a bit too bullish for that. I quite like this area here. Again, a brief pause in the market. I think, again, the plan with gold is to keep it short and sweet. I wouldn't look for any big move for gold. I know momentum is picking up. You can always leave positions to run. But I would still be a bit cautious with gold. We're not really out the woods yet. This is still kind of a large consolidation, if you will. So I wouldn't say we have completely broken out of this. I know momentum's picked up. But momentum picked up here as well. We ended up falling flat in our face. So I wouldn't get too excited with gold. I think if you can clear this high, then yeah, we probably are going to see that big move next for gold. And it could be a pretty big one because we have been ranging for the past couple of months here. So potentially could see, a breakout maybe to 3,600, 3,700 as well. So we could see a pretty big move here for gold. But we are approaching some resistance. You can probably see it better here on the daily chart, how price has been reacting. Now pushing back to the upper end. So although, yes, there's a lot of momentum for gold and buys look good intraday, I wouldn't be so confident about a big swing trade and about a big breakout. Yes, we're expecting to happen eventually, but I wouldn't try and bank on it necessarily with a trade. If I was going to get long on gold, I'll be sure to take profits at the high. I might leave a small position to run just in case the market does potentially fly. Because, I wouldn't want to miss out on that. So I would leave some positions to run. But it would be a small position because I would guess that price is going to probably react to resistance in front of me. But yeah, there could be some nice buys on the pullback, 3,400 roughly. I also like this area here still. If we were to have a deep pullback, maybe form the next higher low there. That still looks like a healthy opportunity as well. But yeah, of course, we're smashing into resistance there. So I wouldn't be buying until we see a healthy pullback. And as for silver's picked up momentum as well. Didn't actually see any of those intraday opportunities I mentioned yesterday. I spoke about a retest of this level. That would be a nice buy. Price was a bit too bullish for that. It smashed through the highs now. Not too far away from 40, just above our heads over there. Very healthy price action here from silver. This could be a nice breaking retest. It looks like it is breaking retesting at the moment. But if you've been watching my streams for a while, you know that I'm not really a big fan of the quick kind of breaking retest, the shallow breaking retest. I like it when price really does rally through a level convincingly and then has a more of a deeper retracement and a deeper retest before continuing. So that's kind of what I would wait for silver. I was looking for that exact pattern on the retest of the high here. So again, that's just a breaking retest pattern there. Price rallies through the level, breaks through the prior high, comes back to retest it, looking for the continuation. Unfortunately, in this case, we only missed it by a pretty small margin there. Maybe another universe price did test the level, but unfortunately, in this case, we just missed it. And yeah, beautiful swing to the upside, back into the high, and now we're seeing some new highs. Just basically looking for that same pattern to repeat itself on the retest of this high, or maybe a pullback to retest this area demand. I wouldn't mind that. That would be a nice consolidation, breakout, retest that prior low, then a continuation. That also would be an area which I would like for a buy if we're to see that pullback happen. If not, then I'm looking at something like that. But yeah, onwards and upwards for silver.